Yeah, likewise, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and pay my respects to the elders, past and present. Look, I won't go on too much about what I spoke about yesterday. I know there's some people who aren't here, but just to say that Twofold has been around since 1979, and it's been a housing and care provider, basically, for the last 30-odd years. When I came along in about 4.5 years ago, the corporation was really struggling. It was just too small, and supports and things have dropped off over the years. The CDP program closed, and the board were really clear they had to make some big changes to survive into the future. And so we looked at all the different opportunities, and one clear one for us was, well, we're spending money on maintenance, why don't we do it ourselves? So we started our own little maintenance crew. At that stage, we were only doing sort of responsive maintenance, but then we went through PARs and we adjusted our rent levels, and so we did actually have a planned maintenance budget, and we do a similar thing. We're sort of a 60 or 70-30 split on the budgets, and so we've got a good planned maintenance project there, and it was really helped with the partnership that we ended up with the AHO, where we did our own backlog maintenance program. So we've got more bang for our buck, and us, that's my workers and our tenants were in complete control of what the scope of the work was. So we got maximum bang for our buck out of that project, and it was really great that we managed to develop a good partnership with the AHO, because it was a pilot project, and we'd certainly be interested in helping other organisations who consider going down that path. So we're, after that we decided to start to get a building licence so we can take on projects for other housing providers, because we didn't need that to do the work on our own properties, but we do if we go for contracts with the Land and Housing Corporation. So anyway, we've proved ourselves in that space. We're getting into commercial and other sort of work. We're working at the moment on Big Eden Wharf project that some of you may have heard of, where the wharf's getting deepened and a whole new wharf structure getting built, $46 million project. So we're taking advantage of those sort of things as well. But really our focus is we're owned by the community, and there's so much unemployment. There's so much overcrowding in housing and homelessness that really, we see our role in the community, that's something we can really do something about, So creating jobs for people changes their lives, and, we've seen staff come, and they've gotten their driver's licence and they've gotten a real job, they've been able to get into housing. It can really change people's whole attitude to everything. So we're looking forward to the handover of properties. I know there's certainly issues with that, but what will come to us is steady work for our maintenance crew, and all the people in the AHO properties. There's 70 in our shire. We know them all. They're all people's relatives. They're our board members. They're staff. And we know we're going to do the asset management a hell of a lot better than the Land and Housing Corporation does. I'm sure all of you who deal with housing know full well what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example. We had one of our tenants came to us and said, "Oh, look, our family's interested in doing a transfer." So that mother and her daughter lived in our large 4-bedroom house. Her daughter had 2 teenage kids and was coming home from hospital with a very unwell preemie baby, and one of my staff members, who's a son, lived in another house, a small 4-bedroom house with 5 children and his mum. And they'd spoken to housing, and they approached me and said, "Oh, look, can we do a transfer?" Yeah, sounds really sensible. So I spoke to housing, and they said, yeah, well, there's just some minor maintenance things. We'll have it all done in a couple of weeks. So my staff member and his 5 kids and wife moved into our big 4-bedroom house, because we've got family succession in our policy, and his house took a bit over a month for them just to fix a few locks and things like that, and so all this time the mother and the daughter are still living in the 4-bedroom house, but with 7 other people as well. So, you know, we've suddenly got this overcrowding issue, and there were health problems that came out of that. And then the third house, the small one that the daughter with the sick baby was moving out of, that took a further 3 months after that, again, just to do some minor maintenance things. So, you know, we can see very clearly that we're going to have a big impact on our own community, and they're all members of our corporation, by taking over this housing and doing it ourselves. But I just wanted to touch on as well some of the things about starting a building business, and you know, the sorts of things you can do that really help, because you can't in the building industry, you can't always employ a lot of people yourself. You know, your workload goes up and down. We're hoping when we get maintenance, we've got steady work and we can employ more people permanently. But we've started doing partnerships with our subcontractors. So I'll give you an example where our electrician, he came to me one day and he said, "Oh look, I'm really looking for another labourer." I said, "No worries, I'll find you one." And I had a guy who I knew that was interested in being an electrician. So I teamed them up, and they, you know, the electrician just absolutely loved him. And so we said, okay, and we helped him set up an apprenticeship. And so now he's finishing his 2nd year of his training. So in another couple of years, we'll have our own qualified Indigenous electrician in the area. And there's no qualified people down our way. You know, people always end up having to go away. So even if we're not directly employing him, but we're still employing him. We're still spending the money on him. So, you know, I think partnerships like that can really help you in the industry. The other sorts of partnerships we've got with different universities. We've got a master's student from Australian Catholic Uni working with us at the moment, and she's writing submissions and things for us. We've got Canberra Uni who are helping us with a big project we're doing at Jigamie, our large property near Eden. We've just got Sydney Uni starting a little project on tiny houses with us. So those sorts of things, we haven't got the money or the facilities to try to expand ourselves, but you know, there is help around if you partner with people. And we're certainly interested in partnering with other small Indigenous orgs, you know, who are like us, who've only got a small amount of houses and do a variety of services of just how you can grow that. And I think we can help each other. Anyway, that's me, I think. Thank you.